Yes, welcome to Ghetto back again in our studio. Today we have a guest here. He will introduce himself. I myself am Boniface, your new interviewer from today, and the other one will be joining soon. Yes, can continue introduce yourself.
Thank you so much, Boniface. I'm Iso Brandon Omondi, or you can call me Esau. Yeah, depends on how you went for your primary education. So I'm Iso Brandon Omondi. He is the team leader for Eradicate Kenya Foundation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, Iso, for today we'll be talking about drugs, and I'll be having a conversation with you about that. Now, since your introduction you've done it well, now to you, if I may ask, you work in Ireach Kenya organizations. Now, tell me about your experiences as what you've done in your work.
Okay, thank you. Basically, maybe I should begin from where Ireach Kenya Foundation started from,
Yes.
and how even Ireach Kenya came to be birthed or to be incubated. So I come from Sia County. Maybe I should mention that a village called Asembo, as in the other part of Sia County in the River Sub-County.
Yes.
And back home in the village, there is a real problem of alcohol and other drugs, specifically the locally made brew, which I have seen during my stay in the village, or every time I visit home for breaks.
Yes.
It's a real experience. I see people really affected by alcohol. And something fun enough about is that when I left my village, went to school, high school, even went to campus, I realized that the problem of alcohol and drug abuse was not just a problem in my village, but it was a problem that was actually found everywhere. And so when I went to Nyeri for my undergraduate education, I did finance. I did at Kimathi University, and I was part of a student body, even leadership, and I even engaged a lot in student counseling, which I happened to be one of the leaders there. And in the process of doing all this, I would encounter so many problems with so many drug-related problems, which really caught my attention. And in the process, I developed a big burden for these people. So when this burden developed, I realized that there's something else that I can do in regards to it. And through other friends in the university, we incubated a group which by then really focused on the affairs of the university, the ADA group did at Kimathi University, which specifically did about alcohol and other drugs that really affected our fellow students. And so just before I left school, I realized that I should not restrict myself within the university. There's still something that needs to be done in other parts of our country. And so that's how Eradicate Kenya Foundation was birthed. Eradicate Kenya simply means that the entire country, the entire national boundaries of the Republic of Kenya. And so the experience has been great, of course, with its own challenges that maybe perhaps we'll talk about them as we progress with this. So that's how generally my experience has been, and we've encountered different people, both the old, which we call senior citizens. We have the those in their early 50s, in their 40s, and those the youth below 35 and to 18, and even the youngest of the younger kids, 5-year-old, 3-year-old, affected by alcohol and other drugs. So that's how the experience has been.
That's the experience. So now, Mr. Iso, since your experience has brought you back then in your village, you yourself, have you ever engaged yourself into alcoholism or any drugs?
Thank you for that question. I have never been involved in the consumption of any drug. Perhaps I should say I come from a very conservative home. My dad and my mom are very strict. In fact, it is a taboo to be found with any alcoholic content. Even it means some kebe. it is a taboo to be found in such things.
Yeah.
Not to mention even the cigarette packings. So I come from a very conservative home, which I think also helped in my upbringing. So I have never been involved in any consumption of such, but I've had relatives who have actually been directly affected by various drugs. So many of my relatives, my uncles, some of them have actually succumbed to alcohol-related illnesses, and that really brought a lot of burden to me. And I realized that there's something that I can do about it. So I've never been in consumption of such.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Since you have never been in drug abuse, now what brought you from back then to now doing these issues of drugs? Seeing people moving out of drugs, it is your happiness. So what brought you back then for you to be doing this?
Okay, yeah, maybe to answer it, my motivation in doing this particular job.
Yes.
I feel so bad when I see young people who have very great potential in them. Yeah, especially when I was in campus, I think that really paid me a lot. Very bright students, very, very bright.
Yes.
Their lives going into wastage because of alcohol, marijuana, and other drugs that I cannot mention right now. And so I had that, I think God in His providence also placed that burden in me, that I should not just be silent about it. When I already have the knowledge, because I've also had different trainings, I've had different courses on alcohol and drug abuse and even addiction, which really improved my knowledge and my confidence and my boldness in doing this work.
Yes.
Then I've also had to volunteer with other organizations like we have Giselle Foundation, which is basically based in Kisumu, which really played a very big role in my upbringing to see that my confidence and my everything else in relation with this actually come to pass. So my motivation is that I don't like to see people wasting their potential. Yeah, some of these people who are turning into zombies into our streets here, they have very great potential. And if only they can be brought back and rehabilitated and integrated back to the society, they can really improve a lot to the economy and even to the life of our people.
That's true. Now if I come and ask you, since you have an experience into this, so for you as yourself, is it your passion, or are you doing it for money, or are you doing it to showcase something?
Thank you for that question. Yeah, I'm not doing it. I'm doing it from a point of passion and burden. And this is one thing that I tell all my team members, the ones we work with, that you're not coming to this organization to make money or to make some wealth. You're coming here to make a difference and make a change and impact in the lives of the people. And that's why our logo slogan says, "Reach them before drugs do." That should be something that must reign in my mind and in the mind of all my team members, and everything they're doing in regards to this organization must not be about money, must not be about fame, must not be any other agenda other than changing lives and realizing a drug-free society. Actually, maybe I can say our vision is to realize a God-fearing, Christ-exalting, healthy, vibrant, and drug-free society. And that should be the goal and the aim and the motivation of everyone who is part of us.
Okay. Since you brought the organization, reach them before drugs do. You reach them. So if I may ask, how many guys or how many people have you reached in your organization as per county or countries?
Okay, that's a beautiful question again. Yeah, we've reached so many people. I might lose the exact number, but the total as at April this year, the total number of people we have reached was 6,557. That was as April this year.
April this year.
And that's 2 months ago. Which again, for the last 2 months, we've also reached more people, and the numbers actually. Perhaps when we do our auditing, we'll get to see the exact number of people that you have reached. And maybe in terms of counties, we've been able to reach 29 counties in Kenya. And of course, our target is to capture the entire 47 counties in our country. Yeah.
So you have a great potential and dream to reach the 47 counties. Now, if I come, since you've reached 6,000 the past 2 months, Now, if I may ask, in those 2 months, for people you have captured, what are the reasons for them in taking drugs? What have you realized into them involving themselves into drugs?
Yeah, a couple of reasons, a couple of things that really push these people to start their consumption or usage of these drugs. Number one of them, which was very rampant and common to most people, was stress. Yeah, so most of them, especially students, and even those who are not students, the life struggle and the life pressure really pushed them to the world to a point that they were not able to think beyond their problems. And so most of them ended up being in so much stressful situations, and they didn't know how to go about it. And so most of them, they thought that if they go into drugs, they'll have their problem go away. But unfortunately, their problem was still even after they went to drugs. And now the funny thing, even after the problem, after taking drugs, they came back into sobriety. The problem was still there. They went back again to drugs, and then the cycle continues and continues. Number two thing that really leads to this is peer pressure. This is so common in our learning institutions. Yes. You come from a background where there is no usage of alcohol and other drugs. You go to the university, you go to your college or to high school, see your friends using it, and then because of that curiosity, you want to see how does it look like. Yeah, that has really led to people consuming and tasting, trying these drugs. Number three is the economic struggles. Yeah, someone has not been able to pay his rent. The landlord is so much on his neck, so he's not able to go about it. So he decides, let me go and remove my lock first. Then this problem will go away. And that's how most of them, they end up getting chemically dependent on these particular drugs, among so many other reasons that actually lead people to these drugs. And maybe another one that I should also get to mention. We have our parents. Yeah, and this I think I should really warn parents who are watching through this, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. Most parents bought alcohol, could buy alcohol, keep them in the house in crates, and then their children, very young kids, would see them consume these drugs. Then in their absence, these kids would again do what they are doing. Yeah, and that's how most children, even as early as 5-year-old, 7-year-old, are actually into drugs because of what they see their parents doing. So parents, you really need to set good examples for your children, because if you're not careful enough, you're going to lose your children at a very young age, because these children, their brain has not developed, and yet they're exposing them to all these kinds of danger.
It is true. Parents should be mentors. Now, as we conclude, so my very last question that I should ask you, since you realize the reason why they are into drugs, and now, what do you tell them when you have them in your organization? What do you do for them? What do you provide for them to remove themselves from taking drugs forever and ever? What do you manage to do into their lives?
Okay, we do a couple of things. Number one, we have to gauge the extent of toxification that you have. If you've been taking alcohol for a while, or marijuana or tobacco for a while, we have to gauge how much of intoxications do you have in your body. Then after that, we have to see what works for you, because there are some people who rehabs work for them, some people does not work for them. If rehab will work well for you, we take you to a rehab, where you can stay there for 3 months. Then if rehab doesn't work for you, now we are there for you. Every time you feel like you need to take one, please make a call to Isa or make a call to one of us. We'll be there right for you, so that we work together to a point that you stand on your own, you become sober again. So we do a number of things. One-on-one, we work one-on-one with you. We do the counseling part of, because this will really affect us emotionally. And so if we don't stand with you emotionally, we don't counsel in a proper way, that cannot really work well if you don't do it, if you don't actually counsel you. So we work with you in counseling. Then we also have to connect you with a local congregation, maybe a church, in form of a church, where the pastor, your local pastor, can really work with you, pray with you, because we really believe that it's only God alone who can take away the problem away from us. Because the whole issue begins from the point of that human beings are very sinful, are very fallen in nature, and so unless we expose you to the only person who can deliver you from this, then you cannot be delivered. So it is only God working through us to deliver people. So everything else attributed to what God is working through us and in other means.
So in everything, God first. That's what it means.
Yeah.
Now we are concluding. As we are finishing the session, now what do you have to say to that community, that parent, that child, that youth, that little girl and boy that are growing up? What do you have to tell them about drugs? What do you have to tell them? What do you want to advise them today? A couple of advice that will give them that drugs, they are not safe. They are not safe.
Yeah. Number one, I would remind you again that alcohol and drug abuse is real. It is not some fantasy elsewhere. It is a real thing. It is a real problem. And two, it is something that is with us. It is not something that is in the US or in the UK or any other location, but it's something that we actually living in. And sadly, it's so sad that our society has chosen to coexist with these potentially dangerous and addictive drugs. So, what can I tell you who is watching this? Number one, to children first, please be content with what your parents are providing for you in the home. There are so many people outside here who are really waiting for you, and they can easily lure you into drugs through your slightest vulnerability that you have. So please be content with what your parents provide for you. And you parents, set good examples to your young kids. To grown-ups, let me repeat that, grown-ups, your body does not know about the illegality of a drug in your country. Your body knows the effect that drug will bring to you. You may think that marijuana has been legalized in other countries, and you may think that it is safe. No, your body does not know whether it is illegal or legal in your particular location. Your body knows the effect, and the effects of these drugs are so tremendous, are so fatal, and so if you give yourself slightly to them, the only thing that you think about is your destruction, which is something that you don't want to see. Number three, if you have someone who is directly or indirectly suffering from these drugs, please don't keep quiet. Speak out, reach out. We are there for you. Reach us in any of our social media platforms at Ireach Kenya Foundation, both Twitter, both Facebook, Instagram, and all of them will be able to get in touch with. We are everywhere in most parts of the country. So kindly get in touch with us so that we can be able to work together. Don't suffer alone. Don't suffer alone in silence. Reach out, speak out, and we'll be able to help you out. Thank you.
Okay, thank you again. I would like again for you to repeat your social media, and please, that youth that is watching, that parent, that child, that any person, please give them the channel that they can find you. Even your number will really help.
Okay. Yeah, if you are someone who loves using Facebook, find us as Ireach Kenya Foundation on Facebook, on Twitter at Ireach Kenya, on Instagram Ireach Kenya Foundation, LinkedIn Ireach Kenya Foundation. Then WhatsApp or call or SMS is 0700895305. 0700895305. Then on email ireachkenyafoundation@gmail.com.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much, Boniface.
Once again, Ghetto Vibe, we have good news for you. We have good things for you coming. Thank you for watching another day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. See you.